Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. This is Ro Leather Certified Career Coach, and our topic is how to find a job. And it sounds simple enough, but I know it is a big project for many and causes a lot of anxiety for most of us. So let's dive into this and break this down. The process begins with you, as you all know. Questions that you have to answer for yourself, and no one else can, is going to be the basis and the structure of your job search. So the questions are, one is, what are your top skills? What are your skills, right? In order for you to convey to an employer that you're going to be an asset to their organization, you have to know what skills you are bringing to the table, and you must be able to convey that, at least on your resume, right? You are not quite sure what your talents are or your skills. There are assessments that you can use, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But it is your job to figure out what it is you're offering to potential employers. And then you also have to figure out what you know, because now we're starting to gather information for your resume here. What do you know? What's your career history? What have you spent years doing? Because whatever it is, whatever jobs that you've had has helped you form, garner, polish, sharpen skills. And we need to identify what those skills are. What education do you have? Some degrees lock you in. If you are a doctor, you must have a medical degree. If you're an attorney, you must have a law degree, right? But generally, an education is something that you can apply broadly. Hobbies, what are your hobbies? Some hobbies are they help you sharpen up skills that you can transfer into actual jobs. Photography, coding. A lot of people like to create apps for phones, create websites, e-commerce, whatever that may be. Those help you polish up skills that you can bring into the workplace. And of course, volunteer work. Volunteering is a great way for somebody to test out a type of job. If you don't have the skills for them, if it's a skill that you want to learn, go volunteer to a nonprofit organization. Let them know the type of skills you're trying to learn. And a lot of nonprofit organizations are hungry for people who are dedicated and committed to helping their organization. And then you also have to figure out where you live, your geographical area. What is in your backyard? What are the industries in your geographical area? Because you have to know what they are in order for you to figure out how you're going to fit in them, right? Let me give you an example why this is important. I had a student years ago who wanted to be part of marine biology, but he was landlocked. He lived in the Midwest, and there was no possibility of him relocating to the coast in the near future. So he knew and he was realistic about his limitations and restrictions. Whatever type of work he was going to do in marine biology would be limited to ponds, lakes, rivers. And so at least he was realistic about how to approach his job search. And once you figure out what the industries are, you have to figure out who they are. What are the companies? Who are the key players? Who are the major employers in the area? Because if you're not going to relocate, you're going to have to find your place within these organizations. Visit their websites, figure out who they are. So those are the 5 questions that you should answer for yourself, right? And that's going to create the basis of your job search. All right, so take these one by one assessments. Get to know yourself, your skills, your talents, your likes and dislikes. If you don't know what they are or you want a refresher, there are online tools that you can use. The ones that I like are the ones that are administered by the Department of Labor. So they're very robust and very reliable. CareerOneStop.org and OwnItOnline.org. These are databases where you can put in the search box your interests, your likes, your dislikes. And for those coming out of the military, there's a section in Career One Stop, which is on the OwnItOnline.org, where you can put in your MOS and it will translate it for you. All right. Then the next question is, what do I know? What do you have to answer for yourself? Your everything you know about the type of jobs that you are going to be qualified for or interest you are going to come from your career history, your education, your experiences, your volunteer work, and your hobbies. This is what you know. It may seem like you don't much, no, may not know much about them, but you do. And what I always challenge people is to do is really dive in and look at the skills that you have for each job. What was necessary? Look for commonalities. What has been woven? What skills have been woven throughout your career history? And if, as students, this probably will apply to your hobbies. What hobbies have you chosen for yourself? And what are the similarities, right? Because a lot of the hobbies that you have chosen are very much related in some way. So take a look to see what skills, talents, and skills you've learned from each of those hobbies. This is going to be the basis of how you're going to find your internship. If you're not looking for a job as adults are, you're looking for an internship, it works the same way. Follow the same process. All right, so let's go back to what industries are in your area. Okay, because this is where you're going to find your internships, this is where you're going to find your jobs, this is where you're going to find your co-ops. So figuring out what the local economy is based on is key. If you are in the Northwest, you are probably looking at aerospace, construction, IT, agriculture, and forestry. So if those are your interest and you live there, then you're good, right? You're golden. West Coast, oil and gas, energy, utilities, transportation, healthcare, and agriculture. Okay. And in the South, petroleum, gas, chemicals, textiles, electronics, and food processing. Not to say that you're not, if you were in the West Coast and you wanted to go into food processing, that you're not going to find anything there. It's just that it may not be the biggest industry, right? And there's a lot of industries. So if you are in the Midwest, agriculture, manufacturing, machinery, finance, food processing. And in the East Coast, a lot more jobs for government, education, science and research, finance, insurance, and healthcare. So be realistic about the industries in your backyard, in your geographical area, right? That way you're not fighting an uphill battle. And then who are the key players? We talked about identifying the companies that the main employers that are there. For example, my university I work for, they're the biggest employer in the small West Virginia town that they are located in. So anybody moving in that area would identify them as a key employer. Same thing with other jobs. If you are applying for a position, um, if you're new in the area and you've just relocated, talk to your neighbors. Everybody knows, locals know who the key employers are in their backyard. So you identify the top industries in your region, research each company that has potential for you. That is I mean, there's a lot of research that you're going to have to do to try to figure out where you're going to fit. Figure out which company will value your skills and talents. That's how you're going to kind of segue into possibly a different industry, not necessarily by looking for the title that you held for all the jobs that you've had, but maybe a different title, but using and valuing the same skills, talents, maybe certifications, licenses. Find your role by visiting career pages and reading the job descriptions. Don't rely on just the job titles because companies change them up. They use different words, different titles. So, what you want to really do is read the job description to see if you meet the requirements. Okay. Um, just to give you a general example, project management or program analyst, such generic words today. You can be a program manager for different departments, for different industries. You can be a program analyst for the, different industries, different programs, different products. So read the job description to see if it's a match for your skills, your offerings. And then make sure that you are in the know with what's happening. So always follow on social media those corporations that you are interested in. Uh, Connect with people with the same commonality, same industry, and on LinkedIn. Follow trending news. If there's something happening in your industry, you want to make sure that you are aware of it. Is there new innovations? Is there new discoveries, acquisitions, large companies merging together? You have to be in the know in order for you to be ahead of what's happening. And then organize your job search as a targeted project. It is a job. It's not a, if you are serious about job hunting, you must treat it as a job. Apply yourself. Make sure that you give yourself enough time and a quiet place where you can submit applications, and so that you're not rushing through applications and seeing something that's going to close very soon, and so you just apply with a generic resume. That doesn't necessarily bode well for you. Employers want to hire people who are experts in the areas they want to solve. Think of their job posting as a help wanted sign where they have posted a problem they want to solve, and you, as the applicant, should come in with your resume as the solution to the problem that they're trying to solve. Okay. Again, your job is to help the employer understand how to hire you. All right. So, crafting your tailored resume and applying for the position. Now, you want to make sure we just talked about, I touched on it, and you might think that I'm repeating a lot of this stuff, and I am, because I want to drive in these ideas and make sure that you are reminded every now and then. Okay, so craft a resume that's tailored to the position that conveys that you are a good match. Refrain from using templates. It's easy to just drop, cut, and paste in a resume template, but recruiters can tell. When you upload your application to a portal, it can go through an application tracking system. And if there's too many formatting issues or it doesn't quite read it, it could get rejected. So minimize the possibility of getting rejected. Okay. And then check and double check your resume before you share it. Think of your resume as a sample of the work you're going to be submitting as an employee. So you're giving them a peek of how you are going to be an employee. So if you submit a resume riddled with typos, that could imply that that's the type of reports you may be submitting as an employee. So keep that in mind. And then once you submit your application, continue to look for other opportunities to widen your net and increase your chances of finding a job, because there probably is going to be tens and hundreds of other people applying for the same job that you just applied for. Waiting around for that one job, hoping it's going to pan out, that you are going to be chosen out of the 200 applicants, may not be the best approach. So continue looking for similar jobs and network. Make sure the people that you are connected with are aware that you are looking for a new position. Brush up your LinkedIn profile, make sure it's current. And if you need help with your LinkedIn profile, I will be creating a video on that as well. But I'm doing this step by step and taking only a few minutes of your time for each of these topics to make sure that we don't gloss over important sections. Okay. And that is all I have for you guys today.